The one and only multiverse presents a grand unified theory. Paul Dirac, 1902 to 1984, age 82. Matter, antimatter. Web page and video are not AI generated. Your host, Richard E. Noer. First, there are a few things that must be understood before we can explain antimatter. 1. There is no such thing as antimatter, but there can be antiprotons, positrons and their associated quantum fields. 2. Matter cannot be created or destroyed, it is conserved. Matter cannot turn into pure energy, but, with its magnetism, it can create and store energy. Matter has 3 dimensions, height, width, and depth. There are 2 forms of matter. First, there is primal matter, which is a sand formulation of tiny solid granules. Second, there are universal dark matter particles, which are tiny spheres of primal matter, that are spinning. UDMPS. The tiny spinning spheres create a polarized space. Small spinning spheres of primal matter, with both north and south poles, and a one-way magnetic spatial flow. 3. Space. All of space has matter plus a polarized or non-polarized force. All 3 create space, height, width and depth. The space we know is the polarized one. It is called the dark matter sea and is composed of dark matter particles with their magnetic force. The space we don't know about is non-polarized space. This is a vast expanse of matter that has lost spin energy, and all of its magnetic force. This is called primal space. There are no more spinning dark matter particles, but there are tiny grains of matter that vibrate and bump into each other, thus creating space and a small spatial force. Primal space. 4. The antimatter phenomena can only happen in the dark matter sea, universe, not in primal space. 5. In the multiverse, the tiny spinning spheres of matter are called universal dark matter particles and are the only kind of matter that make protons, neutrons, and electrons. Pen particles are not made from quarks, leptons and bosons. B. All protons have the same internal spin energy, majority CW closed loops with smaller open CCW loops. C. All electrons have the same internal spin energy, majority CCW closed loops with smaller open CW loops. And all neutrons, neutrinos have the same internal spin energy, equal size CW and CCW closed loops. These structures are electrically neutral. Now, and only now, are we ready to explain the antimatter phenomena. Antimatter structure and its energy. Encyclopedia 58, Matter Anti. The reverse internal spin energy of the proton, electron, and quantum fields. Once a proton's torus structure spin energy is reversed, it affects all surrounding spherical matter and structures. Reversal of the proton inner spin energy is possible by manipulating its external rotation. This creates the phenomena of antimatter, but matter is still just regular matter. The only difference is, the proton and its quantum fields now have opposite internal, external spin energy in relation to the rest of the universe, multiverse. The multiverse predicts that at the fundamental level there is no such thing as antimatter. Matter is matter and has the same characteristics and interaction with magnetism and its energy throughout the universe. It is the internal rotational energy of the proton and electron structure that is responsible for the so-called antimatter phenomena. Actual antimatter would have to have an antiproton, subsequent quantum fields, and a positron. Bear in mind that antimatter, so far as we can tell, is man-made, and has never been found in nature. The way rotational and counter-rotational fields of dark matter particles react to each other is not any different than the way they do now. They rotate in all directions and get bigger and smaller. There is nothing anti about that. Now we get into the theoretical. Suppose you force a proton to rotate backward at just the right speed and compression. This could conceivably reverse the internal individual rotation of the torus string particle fields, thus creating an anti-proton. That would start a chain of events if the environment were supportive. Next, quantum fields would develop, and then a positron would form. TM believes that's exactly how it happens. The internal rotational energy of the proton is what determines the antimatter phenomena, not a different kind of matter. The conclusion is, at the basic level there is no such thing as antimatter, but there can be antiprotons, positrons and their subsequent quantum fields. Also, all protons, antiprotons and positrons are Horn torus structures. Proton, partial structure. Each universal particle is rotating CW, and so is the whole body. The sum of rotation is CW. Antiproton, partial structure. Each universal particle is rotating CCW, and so is the whole body. The sum of rotation is CCW. Antiproton. If a sea of negative protons developed after a black star supernova, and time progressed normally, we would have polarized space with a different rotational theme. It could be called antimagnetic space. So now, instead of the dark matter space we have, it is possible there could also be a different one. One polarized space would have positive protons, and the other space would have negative protons. Now for something very profound, and it doesn't violate any rules or laws of nature, Encyclopedia 5. B. As you know, protons, one positive and one negative, would not be able to survive in the same spatial existence. Only one is compatible with the established polarized dark matter C. On the other hand, if both spatial forces are separated by primal space, or an intense magnetic field, just maybe, it would be possible to have two different coexistent, basic, spatial forces. See, oh my, this would open a whole new level of matter, energy, space, and time. I love thinking out of the box. Something new, and this could be a fundamental game changer. Nay, it's just too radical. It is more probable, plausible, that the two distinct spaces would be overwhelmed by the whole multiverse, and have only one polarized dark matter spatial force. That's what I'm betting on. Let's get back to what we know. The whole rotational theme of our universe, multiverse, has been set by black stars supernova, and was created by the original rotation of universal black stars. This answers all questions about the rotational energy of the cosmos, but it really doesn't answer the question, what if? TM says, there could be a little more to the universe than what we know. Antimatter in theory is cutting-edge technology. It is mind-boggling to know that it is possible to manipulate the spin movement of subatomic particles, thus reversing the internal energy of the proton. What a great time to be a scientist. It seems it is possible to create antimatter in the lab, but the energy to do it is astronomical. Then when you have it and expose it to the rest of the universe, it would inevitably lose its charge and release the amount of energy it has stored. It is likely that the antiproton would not dismantle its atomic structure, but revert back to an internal clockwise normal proton. This process would undoubtedly reconfigure quantum fields, and rebuilding would have to occur. That means there would be a temporary loss of some compression and an energy release may take place, but not colossal. The matter that remains would still be universal particles but with different rotational energy. So as you can see, matter and antimatter does not produce an extreme energy discharge when they meet, or a catastrophic annihilation of space, as theorized in books, movies, and TV. Antimatter is regular matter but with a different rotational theme. Universal particles are spheres of primal matter, space, and can spin in all directions. When they do, it creates a polarized magnetic distance along with the matter itself. There is no other kind of matter. Conclusion: antimatter is really antipolarized magnetism of regular matter. Stay curious, friends of the cosmos, and don't live in a box. The stars will give us all the answers, it's just a matter of time. Your host, Richard E. Noer. Young me. Mini me. Email, noerastronomy@gmail.com. Here in a multiverse, our goal is to find the cosmic truth. No matter where, or how far it takes you, the universe truly does unify. If you get the basics right,